You'll never guess what Michelle said.
The Bachelor is such a effed up organization.
Nate is such a...
Brandon is such a classy dude. Like, I can't believe she didn't pick him.
We all love Rodney. He's the best.
Joe and Michelle are Minnesota royalty.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Nobody you know. That's right. Welcome to the Nobody You Know podcast. They might not be famous, but they certainly have a lot to say. Join Ash, SB, Emmy, and Gus as they discuss everything from celebrity gossip, trends, pop culture, hit movies and TV shows, social media, and even some juicy personal life experiences and opinions. Now, let's get into today's episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Nobody You Know. I hope you are having a wonderful morning or night, wherever you're tuning in. Anyways, let's just get started. So grab your cup of coffee, tea, water, whatever you want, and let's start chatting.
This is exclusive episode, like, how do you say? Yeah, exclusive. And it's just Bachelor episode.
The Bachelorette.
Bachelorette.
Get it right, get it tight.
Yes.
Okay, this is one of our favorite topics here among us. It's a religious activity we do week after week.
Embarrassing, but true.
It's very true.
Every Saturday night, we watch it on the dot.
It's our favorite pastime.
It's
Yeah.
Yes.
tradition.
It is tradition.
And I'm embarrassed to say this, but I've been watching it since the beginning of The Land Before Time, like since the very first season ever. So they don't even know that's like
True fan.
prehistoric.
You are a true
True
fan.
friend, an OG right here.
I'm
Yes.
OG. I'm the oldie of the group.
They got us hooked to this show.
Yeah.
I have never seen this show
Never.
before I met them.
I've actually never even heard of it.
Me neither until I met her. So like,
You're the problem.
Wow, apparently I am the toxic. It's called good toxicity.
But look at it now. We're all hooked on it, and we
Yeah.
all enjoy it. So it's a good thing.
we're going to start with a little thing that we play in this season. So, as you know, in the Bachelor franchise, they have certain words that say in every single season.
Well, no, I don't know if people are actually that aware.
I think people are, because as we saw it in the first episode of this season, when the guy had his notes about the Bachelor and what to say and what to do, and this is what I get the more screen time.
Right,
Or-
right.
So I think people are aware.
do take notes.
I think they take notes on like what the show is about and how to like win at it, et cetera, et cetera. But I've never heard anyone talk about this topic before, and there's a lot of people who have podcasts about The Bachelor and The Bachelorette and the whole Bachelor Nation. I think we're the first people to talk about that. That's why this is like some really good stuff right here.
This is
We
good.
played this little game.
Right.
And please continue, Gus.
So our little game was to see how many times are they going to see the word,
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Yes.
and we made a little bit like each one of us say how many times they were gonna say it for the full season.
Mm-hmm.
So I started and I say 63 times.
Hmm.
I said 78.
I believe I said 87.
I think so. And I think I was 54. And I feel like I'm embarrassed by my guess because, like I said, I've been watching the show since it started. And this whole vulnerable word thing is something that's been bugging me for the last, 8 years. Like, when I used to watch it with my best friend, I would just get so angry because by the time, one episode would be over, I'd be like, if they say that word one more time, I'm going to literally jump off a cliff. And so that's how the whole idea for, counting how many times they say this word.
Yes. And I understand sometimes the word is necessary, but there are moments when you can say other type of
Right, you
things.
can use other words.
I really want to be open to you. I really want to be fully
Expressive.
invested in this situation.
Yeah.
I want to be expressive to myself. I want to
be raw. I want to be open.
I want to be raw.
I want to
Yes.
be sensitive. I want to be emotionally exposed to you. I want to lay my heart on the line. I want to
Yes.
there's so many other ways to say
But
it.
they only say, I'm vulnerable.
I doubt they
I'm
even
feeling
know
vulnerable.
how to spell vulnerable.
Well, don't ask me because I'm the foreign.
Well, I mean, that's fair. I wouldn't expect you to know.
It's just not a word that on the daily that we use. So for this show to use this word so many times, it's incredible.
Right.
It's,
And I understand like one season, one person, but it's every season.
it happens in every season. Every cast.
Every cast. That's the thing. It's every cast.
It's like
everything.
they put it in the contract. You have
Right,
to
like
say
you
this
have to
word
say
this many
vulnerable.
times.
I don't
have
even
to.
think they
Unless you're not
realize
getting
how many
paid.
times they're saying it. It's literally ridiculous. And I think when we zoned in on it, like especially when I like brought it up to you guys, then it's just like you start noticing
became
it
so noticeable.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a little bit like when you notice someone says the word like a lot, and then the second
Yes.
I mean we all do it, but the second that you notice that, you can't.
You're gonna hear the
stop.
and like
Yeah.
you know, like
You know.
you know.
Like,
So I don't think
we'll get
we've,
into that one soon.
I don't think we've told you all what the
No.
final number was.
Let's go into the final number. What was the final number, Ash?
Drum roll. The final number was 74 times. 74.
74 times
Yeah.
in the full season.
That's insane.
Yes. Nali.
Even Nala's mad about it.
Yeah.
She's like, what the hell?
She
Just
can't
believe-
believe it.
It's kind of like an average of 7 times per show, 7 times per episode.
Yeah.
Right.
The most they said it was episode 6 was 12 times, and then the final episode was 12 times.
They definitely love
It's a
that
very
word.
used word.
I'm
and
going to
they
send
love
them
it.
a freaking thesaurus, let me just tell you. But we had a lot of fun
We did have a lot of
counting
fun.
that, and
It's a little game now.
It's a
and
little
we're gonna
game.
keep doing it.
And you can also play it as a drinking game. So, for
Yeah.
example, like if you're watching it with friends or with your besties, whatever it is, you can just simple have a glass of wine or anything or shots, and every single time they say the word, go
it's
for
a
it.
way more fun game than the other stupid Bachelorette games they have out there.
So
So
go
we
for
had
it.
fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we're going to do it again.
Aside
Yes.
from vulnerable, they also use. Remember, we mentioned something about blindsided.
Blindsided.
Being another word.
Blindsided. They
But-
We
really
didn't
like
count that one this time.
But that one, they say the most when it's the girl. So when it's the
Right.
actual bachelor
Right.
Or they say it a lot in Bachelor
in Bachelor
Paradise,
Paradise.
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
interesting that it's like different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But vulnerable, without a doubt, it's in everything.
Yeah, it's in everything, and maybe when one of those people watches this podcast, they're gonna, stop saying it so much.
Thinking about
Just kidding. I hope they can take this as a learning lesson.
all right, like, do we want to keep going on? Like, why don't we start a little bit at the beginning of the season, like 30 men with Michelle?
Yeah.
Because this is about Michelle,
Yeah.
right?
Michelle Young being such. First of all, I love that
We
they
loved
picked her.
her.
We really like Michelle Young. She's a educated,
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
It's just a wonderful, wonderful woman. I mean, we love the way she speaks and carries herself. I mean, she's such a confident woman. Like, you can't unsee that. That was like one of our favorite things about her, and still is.
Yes, it still is.
Yeah, I think I really liked that she, not to go back to like words and stuff, but like you said, she's so eloquent. And genuine. And when she would ask questions, they were very specific questions to the guy that she was speaking to. And you could tell that she genuinely wanted to hear what they had to say. And especially if they opened up and they were vulnerable. She really like spoke to that specific thing, whatever it was that they brought up, and had like the exact right words to say, but it didn't seem like she was just saying the words. It seemed like she genuinely.
It didn't seem cliche. It didn't seem like she was rehearsed or she was like saying the same thing to everybody. And I think that was very good. Like she meant every single word. She meant everything she was. And she was really there in that process. I don't think she was sometimes with this guy, okay, I'm going to tell him, yes, that's great. Oh, yeah, we love to go outside. Like it was really into what the life could be. And I feel like it was more meaningful than some other people.
Yeah, totally.
She was really invested in those conversations. Like you could see her. Like she would. I mean, every time she would reply to these like very
think
like
that's what
thoughtful
caught me.
stories, and like when they were explaining their childhood or like personal experiences, like her reaction towards that and how she it was just meaningful. It was genuine. It was thoughtful, and that's what like one of our favorite things about her. Like when she's listening, she's truly there. She's engaged from beginning to end, and that's what we really liked about her.
Totally. What about the men?
The men. They were
Wow,
interesting.
wow.
They were a wide variety.
Warbury. I
Yeah.
feel like it started kind of weird at the beginning. I was like, ugh, this is not gonna be a great season.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
And then I feel like they started to develop better, and there were some great men in there who I believe were there for true reasons, for
They
real
seemed
love.
less ghetto too than some of the other men. And like
Yes.
Katie's season, she didn't have great options,
No.
and Tayshia's season not super great. These I could see why she was so confused, because like she had a lot of like really good guys there.
Once their
That
personalities
seemed
really
to be there for
show,
her.
Yeah. So like let's start maybe talking about like the ones who like didn't make it quite as far, but like they stuck out.
They stuck
to
out.
us. So there was the one guy that you really liked. Well, we all liked. What's his name?
Romeo.
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 He
Awesome
was
name,
just
by the
cut
way.
too short. I feel like we
Romeo.
barely got to like see
see
him or
him.
hear him, or
Yeah.
I feel like he would have been a great candidate for Michelle.
They look very good
They
together.
would
Yeah.
look like supermodels together.
Yeah.
Like seriously, so
Yeah.
attractive. But he was pretty quiet.
He was,
He
and
was
probably that's
reserved.
why happened to him, because also there is a lot of footage that we don't see, a lot of things that we don't see. So
Yeah.
probably he was a little too reserved
Yeah.
for her and didn't open up. Wasn't as vulnerable.
I was just gonna say that.
He wasn't his.
I feel like we're gonna break the record of the
We
whole
will
show.
in this podcast right here.
I mean, I get it. It's a hard word to replace, but maybe it's more like there's phrases that could replace it
Yes.
as
Right.
opposed to words.
True.
But I don't
True.
know.
Totally.
Anyways,
Yeah.
what about like Maluma?
Okay, so we have this thing.
This thing, yes.
I kept seeing some of these men, they kind of were giving me familiar faces. And I said, Martin, he kind of looks like the Walmart version of Maluma.
Yeah. So
I don't
Martin's the
know.
one from Miami,
He's
right?
the one from
He is.
Miami. I don't know if it's because he's from Miami or the blonde tips, but no disrespect to Maluma or
Yeah, no,
Martin whatsoever. But
If you guys know who Maluma is,
yeah. And I was like, he kind of gives me that air.
I think it was the
whatever.
haircut.
It was the hair,
think
the
it is
blonde
the
tips.
haircut,
I don't
yeah.
know.
It was exactly the same haircut Maluma had at the time.
Yeah.
At the time, right. Now, another lookalike, and we'll get into him later, but we saw that Nate with a Y, looks like the Walmart version of Chris Brown. If you see it, let me know. If you see it, you see it. I don't know what it is with these men that kind of look like
we
them.
can't be the first people to feel like he
No.
looks like him.
I
But
don't know.
but like you didn't read anything. Like literally, I kept being like, why? Why does he look so familiar? And she just like
Chris
nailed
Brown.
the
She
nail
nailed
on
it.
it. Yeah.
Honestly,
Nailed
guys,
it.
look at Nate
Look
or
at Nate.
whatever his
Look at Chris Brown.
Instagram name is King something. Look at his face, and if he looks like Chris Brown, let me know.
He looks.
Comment,
He
comment.
straight up looks like him.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
And maybe that's why we like had prejudgmental things about him.
Maybe.
A little bit.
Because
but at the same
Because
time,
we're like
maybe
he's a girlfriend beater.
yeah,
yes.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe the
but maybe
tattoos,
that's
who knows?
also why Michelle really was into him.
Maybe that's why he's the winner.
Yes, I mean,
And he's tall.
He's
how
tall.
How tall is he? Did anyone look it up?
I never looked it up, but
I'm gonna look it up.
I'll look it up.
My
But-
guess is because she's a basketball player, so she's tall.
And she's used to
like,
being around
she's
tall people.
probably used to being like the tall girl, or like she doesn't ever feel short, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
So like for her to feel like a tiny short girl with him probably made her feel like, ooh, he's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know.
but before we go into him, let's go
Oh,
into Rodney.
Let's go into
I just-
Rodney.
Wait, real quick. He's 6'8".
Oh,
Wow.
he is tall.
Schnikes.
I know, because
He's
we
tall.
were saying like 6'3", 6'4",
Yeah, 'cause TV, you
6'5".
can't really
You
tell.
know,
So they must be shooting down on him,
he's 6'8".
like and not us,
Oh, wow.
because like
Wow.
he didn't look. The
He
way
looked-
they filmed,
no,
he looked
he
tall,
looked
but
really
he didn't
tall.
look like a freaking giant. Like 6'8", that's like close to
Yeah.
7 feet tall.
Right. He's
Yeah,
tall.
but
Maybe
anyways,
that's why.
we wait on
Okay,
him. Let's
okay.
wait
We'll,
on
we'll
him.
get
Alright.
into him in just a
So
few.
let's go back.
Let's
Let's
go
go
back
Go
to
back in time.
Rodney.
Rodney from Rancho.
Oh my
Chakamonga.
God.
Eh,
I love it.
Did you look it up? How did you finally say it right?
I love the freaking name. See, the second he came in
like,
and
I
I
know.
saw Rancho Chakamonga,
So now you can't say it.
I loved it.
You said it right one time, and then
What do
you
you
went
mean?
back to saying it wrong.
Well, how is it say?
All the season we've been watching it, you're like the Rancho
Because I was making fun of it.
Oh, I thought you literally couldn't say it.
No, I was making fun of the thing.
I never understood
No,
that.
I love that. I love that name because
I mean,
say
I love it
Rancho.
too, but I just thought you couldn't say it.
no, I was making fun of it.
That's hilarious.
funny.
Oh my god.
How
But
funny.
anyways,
anyways.
we love Rodney. I
We
love
did.
the
We do.
apples.
I think everyone loves
Oh,
Rodney.
the apples.
I love
The apples.
his natural
I didn't
instinct.
like the apples. I'm sorry. I like Rodney. Don't get me wrong, and he's not the only one I despise. This I don't like how they always are feeding each other things. I'm like,
I think it's not about the feeding thing. It's about the sweetness of the apple thing, like their romanticism
Yeah,
of
yeah.
having that connection through the apples. It's not just like, oh, you know, like, oh, they are feeding each other. No, that's not. It's about like that little detail of they have that connection through the apples. Like whenever she's gonna see an apple or whenever
The
she's gonna
meaning
think
behind
of me.
it.
and
was
she's
so
always
cute,
going
yeah.
to see apples.
Dun, dun, dun.
But you know, I
Yeah.
think he
Yeah.
was a great person,
Yeah.
a great. He was a true man.
Very
really-
humble.
Very.
What really struck me about him was how supportive he was towards Michelle. Like he was just so supportive. Like he's the boyfriend. Like will just not. He won't let you go by yourself. He
No.
won't. Like he just seems like
He
such a
was so
supportive guy.
genuine.
And
He's
so
the kind of guy that
genuine.
like would live to like take care of. And when I say take care of, I don't necessarily mean like financially, but like
No,
even
no.
that probably too. Like
Yeah.
he literally is like the ultimate gentleman.
Yes.
right.
And like if once he chooses to love you, he's not gonna stop loving you ever. Even when you're a
Right.
fat old lady,
Right.
it's not gonna happen.
Right.
Like he's
Right.
still gonna love you.
Right.
That's the
That's-
vibes he
yeah.
gives
That's
off.
that's it. That's it for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think all of America loves Rodney.
Yeah.
He was just a stand-up guy. Like
He
Yeah.
really was.
really, really, really good.
She really like inspired, like that's why I find it so interesting that she like has this story of her past where she felt like the underdog or that like no one noticed her, because I find that so interesting to how she is now, because it seems like most of the guys that she had on her season, like every one of them just like literally like worshiped the ground that she walked on. It seemed like she just like brought out people's good sides,
Right.
like because we'll talk more about Brandon later, but like same thing with him. Like that guy lived to be like to take care of her. You know what I mean? And she just like the fact that she had all these men that were just
Right.
like
Right.
roll out the red carpet.
Literally.
I'll let you walk
Inspired.
on me.
Literally.
Like
Yeah.
It's what she
literally.
inspires. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a very valid point. She, for a lot of men, I think they learned a lot with her in that sense that she wants to be seen. She was saying that every woman, you know, whoever they end up with, they want to be appreciated and be seen and not be forgotten. And I think that's what the men took from that experience. Like, okay, you know, it's not just when we're lovey-dovey and that's, you know, in that phase in our relationship. It's all the time that I want you to be present. And I think that's what those guys got from that experience, which is very important. It's very important.
Very, very important.
what about the one guy? Sorry to backtrack a little bit, but going back to Martin from Miami, right?
Martin from Miami.
You brought up something funny about how like we don't necessarily like
we didn't
Yeah.
love him. We didn't have anything
Yeah.
like, oh, he is right or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, how can I say this without going into like wrong things? I think when he talked to her and he say about the Miami thing, the high maintenance
Oh,
thing,
the high maintenance thing.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, she did interpret it wrong, but he also couldn't articulate that well either. And
I think, yeah.
and you know, like I don't think he meant women are high maintenance. He didn't mean it that way. It's just some type of woman. And I'm not saying everybody. I'm not. It's so hard to say it because you don't want to
'Cause you don't wanna
stereotype.
offend-
Yeah.
You don't
yeah.
want to offend anybody.
Anyone.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just it's a hard topic. It's kind of, you know, like talking about politics or talking about saying there's so many things that could different people view
Right.
in different things. And he said it as offensive. He said it like
yeah.
every woman is high maintenance.
Yeah.
Every
Right.
woman is wanting to be taken care of. And that's not
Right.
what he meant. He just meant like some women in some particular cities, in some particular parts of the world could be very materialistic, could be very like, you have to take care of me because you are the man, you have to pay for my house, because you are me, you have to give me the Gucci bag, because you're me, you have to give me the heels, or all of those type of things. I think he couldn't say it right, and it's very hard to say
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the second you
Right.
say something wrong, it's like
Right.
ow.
You're
And
done.
then,
Yeah.
like,
You're
to
done.
make it even more interesting, we were watching this new show. What's it called?
Selling Tampa.
Selling Tampa. And there was a girl on it.
And
And
she
she
say-
literally,
She said exactly what he meant. She was like, I want a husband that pays for my bills, a husband that pays for my heels, that I don't have to do
she
anything.
said that if her boyfriend proposed to her with a diamond that was too small, she would just be like,
Not today.
I'm not going to marry you today. It needs to be bigger.
Uh-huh.
And like, she ironically happened to be from Miami. And it was just like, or from, I don't know if it was from Miami.
Yeah, it was
But
for,
like, it was just like, I think that's kind of what Martin was trying
that's
to
kind of what
say.
he meant.
Right.
And like, it's unfortunate because, you know, like when you see those little things, it exponentially grows it out and puts it out
Yeah.
like, women from Miami are like this.
Yeah.
You know, or like the same thing with men. The man who is a football player is a player.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so it's like all these
Exactly.
stereotypes. They just one person who does it in national television or
Uh-huh.
national things exponentially blows
Yeah.
it up and categorizes you.
Yeah.
And I think I
absolutely.
wish like women would stop saying stupid shit like that, especially on like national television, like you said, because it does make other people generalize that we're all like that and we're not. It's like you said, it's one girl probably out of like
Yeah.
500 that
You
feels
nailed
that
it.
way.
You nailed it.
And
yeah.
then now all of a sudden it's like everybody thinks that's like how we
Yeah.
all are.
Oh, right. Correct.
you know?
Correct.
Exactly.
So, anyways, we went slightly off topic with that, but I just wanted to
Yeah.
bring
No,
it up.
that is a
but-
good
Yeah.
that is a good thing that happened in The Bachelor.
Right.
What about the guy who took notes? We do have to talk about that.
Yes.
Oh,
What
yeah.
was his name?
I
See,
don't-
no
I
one
don't-
even knows.
No.
Yeah, nobody knew me. It's because he did it wrong. It's
He
like
did it wrong. It was.
He
I mean, it was
did.
just very suspicious
It's
having
super
those written
suspicious.
notes and have it all typed out, and then his excuse is that his friends watched the show, and,
And
so
he's-
they
and
were
he's
giving him
never
pointers,
watched it or
and he's never,
something
and
like
they were
that.
giving him pointers on how to give him more screen time.
The
I mean,
sad-
everything about it just rubbed everyone the
just
wrong
suspicious.
way.
I mean, not to bring Nate again yet,
Yeah.
but he also didn't watch the franchise. He also did. He was
Oh,
there.
apparently he didn't.
So it's like clearly you can do it without.
You couldn't do it without.
It's also sad for this guy because, like, he actually was one of the better looking guys.
he
was.
Like, if
He
you're just
wasn't-
basing it off of looks, like, if
He
she
would have stayed
hadn't,
longer.
if she hadn't found that, if the host of the show, Tasha and Caitlin hadn't found that in his room, he probably actually would have gone really far. He
Yes.
didn't need the notes. That's
No.
what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Like,
Right.
dude didn't need anything. Why are you so
Right.
desperate? Like, all you have to do is be yourself.
I mean, if you're going there to find love, you don't need notes. You just have to present yourself and give it your best and hope that
It works out,
If it
yeah.
works out for you, that's it. That has nothing to do with notes. I mean, that was just odd.
It
was
was
weird.
odd, and
It was weird.
Again, I want to talk about this. How can we do it fast? Because I know we're just gonna go on and on. But
Yeah.
one thing that I do see happening throughout, like the history of the show, the entire franchise, is like how it is becoming like this popularity contest, and the people that do come on more and more often, they're just doing it to become an influencer, to become
To
famous.
become famous
Mm-hmm.
for
And
the cloud.
like it's because
To do
there's the
anything for
social
clout.
media aspect of it that was never part of it in the beginning. It used to be like, you know,
Let's find
there
love.
was no social media
Right.
back in the day, and there was no dating apps online. So if you wanted to meet someone, like, this was like a weird way to do it, but a way to do it. Where am I going with this? Oh, just like the fact that they're like giving them money now, like for down payments on houses and stuff like that. It's crazy to me. It makes it seem like it's less about love now and more about money.
it's
and
about
fame.
money.
I think low key, I think it's becoming a networking marketing kind of thing for everybody. I mean, once you're on that show, and if you don't end up with engaged or whatever, you can become a social media.
You have deals. You have all
you
these
know,
Then
things.
the
So-
next day you have thousands of followers on
Yeah.
Instagram.
I mean,
and
talk
you
about,
have ads and
that goes to
And then you can quit your job and move to
Yeah.
LA
Yeah.
and
move
have an
to LA
agent.
or New
Yeah,
York and
I
have an
mean-
agent. Literally.
low key. Well, Brandon and what's her name wanted to.
Oh my
do.
God, Piper.
Piper. That was their like
That was
scheme.
their excuse.
You
yeah.
know, so I feel like the show, it's like a job fair to get something out
To
of it.
become famous.
So it's not necessarily for the person.
No,
So
it
I
takes
think
it
it's really
out.
weird.
You know, it kills the franchise because
Right.
Yeah.
it's about finding somebody. It's about finding love, even though it's a weird situation. and it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Because, when you get to the end, when you get to those three people, it's like this person is probably in love with the three of them.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
Yeah,
that's why
right.
this season, and we'll get to that juiciness at the end, but like that's why this season was so heartrending, because it's the first time that I feel personally like
There was true feelings.
there were true feelings for the first time in many, many years, where like, and I think it shocked everyone, because I think we're so used to now just seeing like mediocre fake love where you can just see through it. You're just like, dude, you're just doing this to be famous.
Yes.
Please. Just stop lying to me. You still watch it because it's entertaining.
It's entertaining,
But
it's
you don't
drama.
get emotionally invested like we all did this time. Like
Right.
we
Yes.
were literally cut up.
Yes,
We
we were
were.
really
Like
into
it
it.
was
you were
hard.
crying.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was hard.
I think
I
was
was crying.
hard.
We were all
Because
crying.
when
We
you're
were
dealing with
crying,
someone's
yeah.
emotions,
it seemed
that's
real.
where things are a little effed up. Like someone's emotions, really, like that's hard. It's really hard. It's really really hard. As I mean,
It was totally real.
Yeah.
It's really really
Because
hard.
I think Joe, Brandon, and Rodney especially, like, they were there for her.
Her.
Right.
I don't think they were there for the money, the fame.
No, they didn't care about being
No.
Instagram famous or like.
So let's
At
talk
least
about
that's what
Joe.
it seemed like. If they
Right.
were
Right.
at the beginning,
Joe.
they
Yeah.
really got into it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Let's go into Joe. Let's
We
go
haven't
into
brought
Joe.
him up.
You guys, I really pictured Joe and Michelle as Minnesota royalty. I saw them like as the Obamas. Like I
He
saw
was
them
the
as
winner
Michelle
for
and
me.
Barack. Like they looked so good together. Like
Yes.
so good. I just everything was there. It was just there.
It was like hashtag love and basketball.
Yes.
It
all
was
the way.
perfect. Like you
Literally.
could see they're going out just to
I
go
could
play
see
basketball.
it.
Their kids
I could
learning to
see
play
the
basketball
kids. I
from
could
them.
see
Either
it
playing
all.
basketball with their kids or like basketball and then making love. Like
I
that's
could-
how I saw
I could
it.
see them taking them to basketball practice. I could see it all.
Yeah.
We saw the future with them.
Yeah.
That one's. It's still
It
hard to
shocked
swallow
me,
that one.
yeah,
It's really.
definitely.
We're not over it. Clearly, we're not
No,
over it. But
no.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out for me if it was just like the image of them together, because like, but they did have great conversation
They have
too,
good
did.
conversations.
and they understood each other on that like sports, like basketball level. That like we're all professional ballet dancers, and so we like when we talk to each other about what we do professionally, like the other person gets it.
Right.
But if I go out on the street and talk to some random person, they might like respect or admire what I do, but they don't get it.
they don't
They
get
don't
it.
understand.
They
don't
aren't gonna
understand.
understand.
It's
And
not
I
that
feel
same
like
point of
they
view.
had this like rapport with each other
They
because
did.
like they
Yeah.
just got it.
They got it. They understood
they
each other
understood,
perfectly.
yeah.
Like, I think that's what's really hard for us to like not get, not understand. Like, you guys understood
Yeah,
each other
like,
perfectly.
What
like,
went wrong?
I mean,
Yeah.
wasn't
Everything.
he crowned like Mr. Basketball
He
of the
was.
state of
Yes,
Minnesota, and she
yes.
was Miss Basketball? It was like
it was just meant to be.
It's perfect.
It was perfect.
And like
it
I
truly
feel
was
like
perfect.
I feel like the things that we're probably missing are the things that are gonna come into the relationship later.
Eventually?
When they get married, when they get together, when they actually get to live that private life or like
Yep.
that real life.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know
Do you
what happened
think-
there.
I haven't brought this up to you guys yet, but do you think that maybe there was a tiny subconscious small part of her that wanted to reassure like everyone watching that she didn't choose him because she knew him prior? Like, do you think she was like worried they're gonna be like, oh, she picked
I
him
don't
because she
think
knew
so.
him before?
No, I don't think so.
In the beginning, I thought it was weird that he had come on the show. We really thought it was weird because I'm like, oh, they knew of each other, which was weird. But then once the season started playing episode and episode and episode, we were like, oh, okay, it's not that weird anymore. I just let it go. I had forgotten completely that they had messaged each other and that didn't work
He
out.
ghosted her.
Prior, yeah.
That is
Well,
fucked
maybe
up.
Yeah.
maybe she couldn't get past that.
Maybe she couldn't get past
Maybe
that.
that was like
Yeah.
the tiny thing, because like I know she kept saying she's falling in love with two people at the end, and like maybe she was falling in love with three people, and like she literally was like, he has this tiny flaw. What? Why are you guys laughing?
No, because she was making noise.
Oh, Nolly, did she fart?
No.
No.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, that's funny. So I was maybe that was like his one flaw, and she couldn't find something in there.
We'll never know.
Well, I don't know. I feel like personally, for me, I just felt like he wasn't as open.
Vulnerable, you mean? He wasn't vulnerable.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like she was more And
trying to
Yes.
get more out of
And
him.
he was more like,
But
he
I
was calm and like,
but he
it's
was
fine.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
feel like if he wasn't into her,
he wouldn't
I
try.
would have understand she not picking him. But he was into
He
her
was
and he
trying.
wanted and he
Yeah.
tried and he.
But
tried.
he's
But
so
I didn't
serious.
see that.
Yeah.
I saw it. I
I-
think he was just way too
He's a
calm and like he was like.
his personality. He's a
Yeah.
very reserved person.
That's
he's
what
a
it
very
is.
reserved
Yeah,
person, and I think that's not everybody's cup of tea.
No.
Clearly, but for him, that's just how he carries himself. He's a very reserved person. He's not a flashy person. He's not one to be outspoken, and so. I guess for her, she wanted more out of him. He tried though. He really did try, and I think
he tried.
and I think that's also valid. Like we have to also salute him for that. Like he was trying, and he was there for. To us, it seemed like he was there for the real reason. I think he was there. He was genuine.
I think he was.
No, I mean, he was talking
Yeah.
about, like, I can see a house, children with
I
her.
can see us buying a house
Like,
in
they
the
also
lake
wouldn't even
Minnetonka
need
or
to, like,
something like
move
that.
places because they live in the same,
Right.
The same place.
And I was even thinking that's going to be so awkward when Nate and her, like, walk down the street and they see
Bump
him.
each other.
I hope
Surprise.
Minnesota is big enough so they're like,
Oh, Minnesota was huge.
okay,
But-
good. Because that would suck.
Hopefully.
I mean,
That would
guess,
suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But anyways, let's move on
Yeah.
into our second runner up.
this one's hard, guys.
Okay,
This one's
Town.
hard.
our own Portland,
Our own Brandon.
Brandon.
Brandon is
I-
just the best.
I'm the best. I love him from the beginning. His charisma, the way he carried himself, the way he talk.
He looks like a boy, like in a cute way, but he has like the heart and the maturity of like an old romantic. Honestly,
Like, don't let the
he's,
baby
like,
face fool you.
He's like a classic man, like you know that song.
Yes.
I'm
I'm
a
a
classic
classic
man.
man.
Like he literally like he has an old soul in this like boy body. And he's so sweet, and oh my
So-
gosh, like it's
A
so
gem, a
heartbreaking.
literal gem.
I haven't seen anyone be so romantic on the show.
Romantic, but in not just in a cliche way or like I'm gonna do this because that's gonna. It was genuine.
Yeah.
Like I love the phrase he say at the end. Like I put my your happiness is above my happiness. Like I put you
That
first.
letter,
Yeah,
It's like
that was hard.
he totally mean it. He
Yeah.
wasn't. He didn't was like, okay, I'm gonna say this because this is gonna give me the most views, or this is gonna give me. He truly was there for her.
Yeah.
Like I don't believe 1 second he wasn't there to
No.
find love.
No. No.
He was there for it.
Yeah.
Like he was there for her and only her, and to be the top. And like she will have been every single day. She will wake up and make her feel like she was a queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You made a very good point. Like he did things, and not because this is going to be a point higher than Nate, or this is going to
Yeah.
take Joe out of the race. He didn't do it for those reasons. He did it because I want Michelle to know that I'm here for her and that I'll always be there. I mean, everything he said was just
Everything.
it
he
was
said.
confirming and validating how his love, how he felt towards
Yeah.
her, and it was. I mean, it's past genuine. That's just like Michelle's favorite word, authentic. He was being his authentic self, and it was. I think it was true love, guys. I think we saw true love there, and it was literally crushed, and
It
that was
was
the
so-
hardest
That was
thing.
so
I've
hard.
never
Hardest thing to
seen anyone
watch.
break down like that on
No.
the show.
It was
I've
the
seen a
hardest thing to
lot of
watch.
crying. Like guys have cried before, girls have cried before.
You can't
Not
make that
like
up.
this. Like he
You
was
can't make
literally
that
like
up.
vibrating. He was so upset.
You can't make that. He was not acting. You cannot make that
No.
up.
That
You
was
cannot.
heartbreaking.
That was
and
the
even
hardest
before
thing.
he got his heart broken, like the part, like I knew how he felt, like right, like you could feel it
You
through the
could feel
effing
it.
TV.
Yeah.
But like when I really got it was when he was looking at the rings, whereas like Nate went and just like this ring, peace out. He like tried to chest pump like Neil Lane, which I thought was weird. Anyways,
Yeah.
but he like is looking at the rings and like the way that he expressed his love to Neil Lane was so beautiful and so real. And then like his hand was shaking when he like opened the box to like pick out the ring that he wanted. Like that's how much feelings he
And
freaking
only
had.
that, he also say this is the ring that represents Michelle the best, or like she thinks. So that was the best thing. You know, it wasn't like, oh, this looks great, this is big enough. You know,
Yeah.
he meant about her. It was about her.
Yeah, I mean, even her parents loved him. He was everyone's favorite. I mean, she got the okay from her parents. I mean,
Yeah.
if that doesn't tell you that he's the one, I mean, come on. I mean,
I mean,
It's hard.
We knew that she was fighting
against
the internal monologue going in her head because, like, you could tell she wanted to listen to her parents because she respects them so much. Like, it's clear that she really values their opinion, but, like,
Her heart said something else.
yeah. And she knew she was going to go against it, but, like, you could tell she tried for a second, you know? But, like, and even, like, his gift, like, of bringing her dad the swim trunks.
The swim
It was
trunks.
so
Yeah,
cute.
it was
It's
so
like,
cute.
how, like, that's so much better than, like, bringing flowers or, like, a bottle of wine or something. It's like, here's something, like, that is a private inside joke only between us. Like,
Yeah.
the way that they were vibing was so cool. But
Yeah.
Even their families were gonna get along with each other.
Yeah.
His parents also like to fish, like her parents. Like they were just, it was so good too. That's another one that it was meant to be. If it wasn't Joe, it would have been Brandon, and we would have been fine with it
Yes.
too.
Right.
I think the moment I knew she wasn't gonna pick him is when in the fantasy suites when I think it was Nayte, or I don't know who was the one who said. I think he
Nayte.
said to her,
Nayte.
"I love you," and she says, "I definitely love you."
That was
When
the
she says,
clue.
"I definitely love you," I knew it was over.
That was the key.
Joe and Brandon have no.
she was like, I'm falling in love with you, or I think I'm falling in love
Yes,
with you.
she
or something.
didn't even try to say it. Like, she was like, I'm falling, like, I think she was reserved because it's kind of what she said yesterday in the final rose. Like, I just had to express how I feel because that's what I felt and I meant it. But I feel like she was conflicted in saying it because it's national television. It's like, you don't want to say I love you to 3 different people.
I want to talk
Right.
about the whole I love you thing. It's always bugged me in the Bachelor franchise how people like throw that word around. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. Like, do you think you can fall in love with more than one person at the same time?
Yes.
And if so, do you think it's fair to communicate that? Like, in my opinion, this is my opinion purely. I feel like it would be better to keep it to yourself, and then when you know you're gonna pick that person, then be like, I'm in love with you. You could be falling in love with multiple people, but maybe you shouldn't tell them.
No, I disagree, and I understand why Michelle did it, and it's because you are doing this thing that is already out of the world. Because you in the real world, you're not gonna be able to date 30 people or 4 or 5 or 20, right? So for her to be able to get closure, for her to be able to move on into the next relationship, in the one that she actually wants to follow, she has to be completely open with all of them and tell them how she truly feels. Because if she doesn't, in her next relationship, the one that she marries or whatever, she's gonna always be in the back of her mind. I never told him how I truly feel. What if I told him how I truly feel and it changed or reciprocated emotions? What if I didn't say this or that? So when you say fully, you know you give it all and it didn't work out. So then you are ready to move into the next phase.
But it's different because she knows she's not going to be rejected by them.
No, it's not about that. It's about, but she's gonna get the closure.
Why does she need closure?
Because if you don't get the closure, you're never going to be happy with the next person because you're always going to be wondering, I never truly meant what I say. I never truly say the right words.
But then there's the flip side argument where it's like, shouldn't you reserve those very special words for the person that you're actually going to marry? Like, should you just be saying it to 3 other dudes before you get there? I don't know. Like, I don't
think she
think it
did the right thing.
necessarily would have changed the guy's feelings towards her. Like, they already felt that way. So I don't get why she would have needed to tell them.
It's
like,
because it's about her, and she has to be able to do it because she's the one who is in love with 3 people. The guys are just in love with her.
Yeah.
They don't have 2 people as well. If this was a 3-way situation where it was 3 men, 3 women, then you shouldn't say it. But
I
it's
don't know. What do you guys think?
Oof. I from hearing your both point of views, I think it's very conflicting. I can't really choose.
No.
I can't really side with one.
You make
because
sense and you make sense.
Because you make sense. Because you reminded me about Katie's season.
Yep.
Katie didn't say I love you to everybody too. I remember her saying I like to say I love you to the one and only person. She has said something along those lines,
And
I
she is not
respect
with that person.
I respect that.
and she's not even with him. Go figure, right? But I also see what you're saying too. That the possibility of falling in love with 2 people and having the closure and saying I love you, and so they can know, and that she can also know that too, is also true too. So,
But in some ways, I feel like it makes it even worse for the guy.
It does make
when
it
they
worse for the
are-
guy.
in the
Yeah.
end, in the end, people are going to be hurt.
But they already,
That's-
I know they
that's-
signed
that's
up
the
for
thing.
it, but still.
That's the thing, and that's the effed up situation about this whole show.
And yet we keep watching it.
And I keep watching it, but this goes to show how this show really messes up with people's emotions and psychological
Yeah.
states.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's
Yes.
not good. It's not good. I mean, I wouldn't recommend putting myself in that situation.
And I think
but
they're always shocked when they do get
Blindsided.
They're blindsided because
Blindsided.
I think you can tell yourself a million times, like, I'm expecting that I could get heartbroken. I know I signed up for this. I know everyone in the world is watching me. People from other countries are watching me. Like, but I still think even if they like mentally prepare themselves, they still are shocked. And that is how Brandon looked. He literally did look like someone just
He thought
because
he
he
was
thought he was
thought
marrying
he was
her.
the winner.
because
He
she
really thought he was marrying her because he
Made
he
him
in
feel
his
that
mind,
way.
In his mind, he knew he gave it his all, and he knew that was the best. He knew that. He knew that in his mind.
And I think he also knew the second she didn't pick him, he knew he had nothing to do. Because he knew that their relationship was so good and so everything that he knew it wasn't because she didn't love him, it was because she loved the other guy more.
Yeah.
And he says, I have nothing to do with that. I cannot compete with that because she's never going to love me as much as she loves him.
and
That's
it's
the reality.
pheromones. It's got to be pheromones for the Nayte.
So, yeah, I feel like it's so...
That
I
you
mean,
can't compete with that. You can't make someone love you.
again, like
can't.
in the final
force
rose,
someone
You
to
can't
love you.
force someone to love
the
you.
best thing that he said is when he talked so well to her. He
Yeah.
did so well, but the best thing he said was, I don't understand how you question him so many times
this
about...
was in the
He
when
literally
when
said,
they met up in
quote,
the.
It seems like you had to push Nayte to love you multiple times, end quote.
Yes.
I
And-
wrote that
and-
shit down.
And
Yeah.
he never had to show, she
No.
never questioned what he felt.
No.
Yeah.
And I think that is so ridiculous
This is
still.
when he needed to see someone else's point of view after the season when they met up with each
Yes.
other.
And she avoided
sit
the
down.
question. She didn't reply.
didn't reply to that
didn't
question.
reply how he
No.
wanted
For
to.
once.
I think
Wait, what
Yeah.
did he ask
Reply.
her again?
he wanted to know, like, why
Why
did-
him?
Why
Why him?
him
Yeah.
and not me?
Right, when he was saying, yeah,
And she
you were
went all over the
questioning-
world.
Yeah.
She
Because
didn't
even
really.
she doesn't know why
She
she
doesn't
didn't
know.
pick him.
It's
For
because-
once, Michelle didn't have a direct
That's what I'm
answer.
Yes.
saying. For once, she
That
didn't
was
Didn't
the
have a
only
direct, for that one,
second-
she didn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
And she is so. I see a side in her that I don't like as much as all the other sides because like she acts like worshipful in like, and this might make people upset, like almost like she idolizes Nayte. I don't like how she acts around him. She acts like he's God's gift to the world.
because that's
I
how he
don't
acts.
see them as equal. Like they don't seem like equal partners.
Compatible.
She seems like, oh, hail Nayte. Whereas like with her and Brandon, it seemed like they were just like on the same level. And I did write down one other thing that Brandon said that I really liked because you're so on point. Like he was so respectful, and he could have been mad, crying, angry, whatever. I've seen other rejected guys on this show in the final rose act that way, but he was just super classy. But he did say one other thing that made me proud of him because I felt like he had those two assertive moments where it was like, okay, I'm not going to be a carpet for you to just like walk over. The one thing that you already said, and then he also said, I felt like my love was overlooked.
Overlooked.
Yes.
Oh,
He was overlooked multiple times.
Yep.
Because
multiple
if you
times.
go back and just watch the whole thing, time and time and time again, he pulled her aside to tell her how he felt, that her feelings were more important
Reassured
than his.
her.
He wrote her letters.
He always put her first.
He always put her
Always.
first. And like,
Always.
meanwhile, Nayte can't even tell her why he is even in love with her or her parents.
That was the biggest difference between Brandon and Nayte. When they had conversations, Michelle had conversations with Nayte. It would be about him, about what
You
he's
know,
feeling, what
you
his
know,
what his thought process
know.
was. It was never about her. With Brandon, it was a joint conversation about each other, and it was very different the way their conversations, at least what the show showed.
Yeah, at least what the show showed. That's the other thing. It's so hard to also, for example, us as spectators, to judge or to think about the situation because we are not there the 24 hours they
But
are
Right.
we have to
Right.
assume that they're gonna pick
No.
the good moments.
No,
so.
no. That's the problem with editing. You don't pick the best moments all of the time. You pick the moments that are gonna confuse the most, or you pick the moments that are gonna be the best to see through the viewer, not through the relationship. And
Yeah, well,
yeah, unfortunately, it's
but
that
there's
way.
also the flip side that like maybe that was his best and that
That
is
could be
sad.
all.
Oh,
If
true,
the-
that's
if that's
true.
his best, that would be very sad.
No,
I'm
yeah.
hoping it's not
Yeah.
because she actually picked him. And I'm,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
even though we
Yeah.
are not love of the relationship, we wish them the best, and
Right.
hopefully
Of
it
course,
actually
yeah.
works, and hopefully they can be really
And-
love and be good together. But
Yeah.
I think we're just thinking of what we've seen. So
Right.
don't.
Yeah, and
Don't-
even
Right.
Brandon was like, dude, I wish you guys the happiness. Like, I also wrote down another thing he said. He's just like full of like amazing quotes.
Yeah.
But he said something like, when Caitlyn asked him, like, hey, like, are you still in love with her? Whatever. He answered so well. He said that he will always love and care for her, but it's not respectful for him to love her that way anymore
Yeah.
because he wants her to have the best with Nayte.
Yeah.
Again, self-sacrificing to the end.
He to the end. He
To
was.
the end,
He was.
he's just
classy
a
to the
stand-up
end.
guy.
That, my friends, is live. That's not edited. So,
Right.
like,
Right.
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, he there is nothing wrong to say to Brendan.
Yeah.
I think the only thing wrong is that he didn't push himself to be a little bit more mysterious for her to be more involved with him. He was too available to overlook.
Yeah.
And you know, and that sometimes is so hard in a human relationship that we are so confusing as humans, as person, as people, that we want what we cannot have. We want the things that are not available. We want the things that are not there for us. Why? I don't know. Because if somebody's there for you, willing to give you everything, willing to be that person for you, you are like, oh, bye. I
Right.
want this guy that is gonna beat me. And like,
But we're not saying Nayte
no,
beats her.
yes, no,
Yeah, yeah.
please, no.
No, I get what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying in general, in people, and I'm not saying people want that. It's just like it's so fucked up how our brain and things work, and it's not just with people; it's also with material things. You know,
Right.
sometimes they say you have an iPhone and an Android. You all just they're like, oh, iPhone is better. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
It's just we are just like this is more expensive, so this is better, or like you know,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
so fucked up in those type of things
Society,
psychologically.
Psychologically.
But anyway,
Unless
let's
it's one
move
of-
on into our final thing, Nayte. How do you feel about Nayte?
The winner about Nayte.
Well, I think we already kind of expressed some of the things
Yes.
about Nayte, but I mean, again, it could be like the editing that they did, but I just feel like he didn't seem emotionally mature to me, and
No.
I know I'm judging that based off of the way that he spoke, but he spoke, to be quite frank, kind of like a rapper like Chris Brown, a little bit. He's just like every word he
You
said,
know?
you
You
know,
know?
You
he
know?
called people bro.
Bro.
He was,
You know?
You know.
he's like, you know, and what else did he say? He was,
you
yeah.
know,
He
so,
say
you
the
know?
best. What did he say to the mom?
Oh, he was like, I don't take love seriously. I mean, yeah, I do.
And we
In
get
front
it,
of the
he's
mother.
nervous. But
I get
that's
it, you're
the
nervous,
wrong
but, like,
time
that's
to F
just-
up.
That's the
You're
wrong thing to
done.
say.
You're done. You're done.
I mean, it's funny because the mother was like, I'm not really feeling it with Nayte. She's like, I'm all about feeling, and I feel it with Brandon, but not with Nayte.
No,
I mean,
it's just
her mom couldn't lie. I
And,
mean,
like,
she didn't have that
You
same
can't
feeling.
edit that out.
You
That's
can. You
like
can.
she said that
She
at
said
some
that.
point
She
in
did.
the
She
filming
said it
process.
and she meant it.
In the end, who are we to judge Nayte? We don't know
No, we
Nayte.
are not.
We don't know
But if
Nayte
you're
at all.
if you're basing it off of
but
the
if we're
words
gonna
that
base
they
it,
showed us,
yeah, if we're gonna base it off the show,
He wasn't the right choice.
I don't know. I don't know how we feel about him. Should he have been the winner?
I just find it
don't know.
hard that someone
know.
who's a teacher with her intellect would be attracted, like, to a personality of someone who doesn't seem to be like the smartest, brightest person.
I mean, in Nate's defense, he is educated. He did go to college. He is a graduate. Like, he has his
But you
bachelor's in
don't- you
business
don't need to
administration.
go to
but
college
I don't-
to
I don't-
be
it's
smart.
not like he's not educated.
I don't
He
think
is.
it's
just-
about him being smart or no. She was just in love with the way he looks.
I think it's the looks.
I think it's the
Yeah.
looks.
But I personally think Brandon's actually cuter. But
Yes,
that's just
yes,
me.
because his
Same.
personality is
Come
so
No,
on.
I
beautiful.
actually physically think he's more good looking.
He's-
Do you not too? I mean,
I think he is.
but
I think his
I
personality
think it's the looks.
is
Like
the looks to her.
because if he
Right,
was
for her, for
yeah,
her,
of course it's
for
about
her.
her. Yeah.
yeah,
for her.
that's why I say like if you bottle that
If-
dude's pheromones, she would lick it. Like that's how into it she
I
is.
feel like if Nayte had the way Brandon act, she would have the perfect man. You know, like
Yeah.
that's the perfect man for her.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
know, it's just
I mean,
I just I don't see him in a school classroom atmosphere. Like her
No.
family was awkward. Even his own stepdad was like, "Dude, kid
He
is
was my
not
favorite.
ready."
He's my
Kid-
favorite. Yeah, I like
Like and,
Nathaniel's not ready for marriage.
Nathaniel. His facial expressions,
and
everything.
like
was
honestly, you guys, like if you haven't watched the After the Final Rose, look at stepdad's reactions because like you can see inside his mind literally what he's thinking. He's like, "This is the worst thing that's ever.
It's
this is
so good.
He's like, "This is
Think-
gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah,
like this is not gonna end
Nathaniel
well."
really put me in this. How dare
Like-
you, Nathaniel?
And so I'm glad that we brought this up because now going to another question I have for all of you. Is it possible, and I think it is possible, but I want your guys' opinions. Is it possible to like get married and everything when you have like zero experience in relationships and with love, which is what Nate's experiences were?
I think you can
Mm-hmm.
because I think it can be how you can grow with a person and you can keep connecting and making those new experiences into a new scale and becoming a greater love. The problem is I feel like he in my opinion, I don't know, I don't think he was ready to have those experiences. I mean again, I don't want to judge. I don't want to feel like I'm just attacking him because I'm not. It's just I feel like he was there to be famous.
yeah.
I feel like he's the only one of the three N people who was there to be famous. I feel like he's the one who just wanted to, you know, be the next bachelor. So I don't think he wanted to be the next
I
bachelor,
think
but
like a perfect example of how I feel exactly how you do is his thing that he thought was like reassurance to her was when he said, "I only brought 2 suits because I never thought I would like get this far." Which to me that's a ginormous red flag because to me that says
I'm gonna go
you
to Bachelor
didn't
in
want
Paradise.
to get married. You didn't go for a serious relationship. You just came for a good time.
Right.
And that's what he even said when he was like, when the mom asked him, like, how does he feel about Michelle?
Nothing to say.
He said, we're just fun. We just have a lot of
Yeah.
fun. He just seems like he's a good time guy.
Oh.
F boy.
I was gonna say, like, also when didn't the mom ask him, like, are you ready to move to Minnesota? Like, where do you see each other? And he said no, right?
No, he
He's all
didn't
about-
say no.
He was all about adventure. He's on this
okay.
adventure thing.
Okay.
It wasn't something that reassuring or
Right.
concrete. It's something that you don't want
Because
your
when
family.
the mom asked Brandon, he was like, yes, I'm ready to
Yeah,
go.
I'm ready
like,
to go. I'm
tomorrow.
ready to move. Yeah.
And like, I'm sorry, but I feel like when you want to get married, buy a house, have children, you like, yes, you want to have adventure, but I feel like she wants stability. She doesn't want to like
Adventure
go
is not
jet
your first-
setting and like
Right, right,
Adventure
right.
is not your first thought.
no.
Not necessarily.
Adventure is like your second thought. Like it's like
Yeah.
we have
Right.
established this amazing thing. Let's go explore everything. Let's do run with
To
each
me,
other.
adventure sounds like he's like, sign me up for Bachelor in Paradise.
Right,
Yes.
right,
Like,
right.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
really didn't like that. And that was and I also just felt like they have a great physical connection. And it's not like he's the only guy that they showed making out with her on a regular basis. The show is always full of that. Like, I don't know how they don't get mono or COVID. But regardless, like, I felt like they spent most of their time just like making out with each other and hardly talking. So I was like,
But, I mean, that's what the show does. So
yeah, they do
that's
that
what
a
we
lot. And
saw.
again, we don't know. They might have had like
Amazing
more-
conversation.
Meaningful conversations for all we know.
Sure.
We don't know.
That's the thing that
Yeah.
we don't know all of those parts, you know,
Yeah.
and like that's the hard thing to be able to actually have like a better opinion or like a better thing because we don't really fully see the 24/7. We only see 30 seconds.
15 minutes.
of them actually interacting.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and it could be the
exactly.
moment that is drama, or it could,
Yeah.
you know. So it's just
Yeah.
so hard to see a full relationship.
It's hard to judge or
It's-
say anything. Yeah.
I mean, again, we wish them the best. I just,
Of course.
I
of
still
course.
feel like,
So you answered the question.
yeah.
Sorry, we
Yeah,
went off
Um,
on tangents, but
It's
like,
all
so
good.
what are your guys' thoughts
My
on that?
thoughts on having experience having experience before getting into
With like relationships or just being in love, like if you haven't had any of those experiences, like do you have a good chance
Got
like
it.
to be
Got it.
successful in
I
marriage?
I
think
think
so.
I think that every person is different. Every person
True.
in finding love is very different. Not one person's the same. So what works for one person probably does not work for the other. When it comes, this hits home because
I was just
our
gonna say,
parents,
yeah, I was gonna say
our parents were their first love, were their 1st everything. So for them
and they're
it
still
worked.
together.
For them, it worked. They're happily married 28 years.
That's
For them, it
amazing.
works. So every person to find love, every person to find marriage is a different route. There's
Story.
no right or wrong way to find love. It's whatever it's destined for you.
I
And so
really
that's
like
really
that.
that's really all in
I
God's
really
hands.
like that, and I think I agree with you about that. I think when it becomes super important, if you haven't had experience with like being in love or just having a lot of relationships, you have to really know yourself. Like you have to have done a lot of self-evaluation and like learning to like love yourself and just know like what you want, so that you can like literally analyze yourself when you do finally fall in love, to know like, is it real, or if it's just like a feeling of infatuation that you maybe haven't felt before, and to not confuse that with real love.
Yep.
And so that's why I think it takes a lot of emotional maturity and strength. And just to like round out that whole thought about like the Bachelor franchise and this particular topic, I want to talk about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. Because this is a thing that's
important.
pissed me off
It's
for a long
important.
time. Gus will tell you, because I feel like it's so hypocritical of the show. They often like zone in on like the people who are like virgins. Maybe they're lying, maybe they're truthful. I
don't
actually
know.
think some of them have been. And they make this
Huge thing.
deal, and it's so annoying. They're like, how can you like marry someone like as a virgin, because you've had no experience with that. I feel like we need to like look at it like how we just talked about love. Like everybody's experiences are different. Like I do believe that you could save yourself from marriage and like be successful in it. Like you don't need to have sexual experiences necessarily.
in
With
order to
100
find a
people.
successful
It's
marriage.
different for everyone, and I just
Yeah.
feel like sometimes the show is so confused about like what is real and what makes a great and healthy relationship sometimes.
Right.
Like they're just like, if I don't have sex with you, then how do I know if we're gonna like be good in marriage? Or if I don't jump off this mountain or out of a plane with you, we must not be good together. I'm like,
Right.
what the hell? You guys need
Yeah.
some therapy, like for real.
Exactly.
It just goes to show how our society has really shifted
It has.
how we see relationships, and I think how a lot of things are not long term, or what's the next best thing, and a lot of things are just like, oh, for the time being, or short term, and so
For
that goes
now,
into
for now,
relationships, and
yeah.
that goes into why everything in this show is, I feel like it's constructed by. So it's hard to take, oh, let's find love on a show and compete and jump off planes and to see if we're compatible. Like it doesn't really match, but it's entertaining. It's entertaining, but again, once we start doing the real life thing, like emotions and like investing and being vulnerable and in getting the families involved, that's where it's a little like, oh my God, it's a little effed up. It really is. It's
Like, to
because
me,
it just seems
cracks
like
me
games.
up. It cracks me up that they're like hooking up left and right, and then they like freak out. They're like, it's hometown.
It's
And now
hometown.
I have to meet.
Yeah,
I have
but
to
I
meet
saw
your
you naked.
parents. But I had your penis in my vagina. But that's no big deal.
But that's no big
now
deal.
now I'm scared to
Right.
meet
Your
your
parents.
parents.
I
Like,
feel
Yeah.
like it's not only that, it's also the thing that we were talking about, like they are love yous. It's like
Yeah.
Right,
they are
it goes
so
to that.
afraid to say I love you,
goes to
but they
that.
are not afraid to have it deep inside.
Right.
yeah.
It's
It
like
doesn't make sense.
It's
It
so
doesn't make
sense. Doesn't make
twisted.
sense.
I feel like
It's so
people
twisted.
I feel like people are
And like,
afraid to commit.
Again, we are not saying that Michelle did this. It's just
No.
it's,
No,
it's in
this is
general.
our general idea.
She's actually
about
the
this whole
first bachelor or bachelorette in a very long time that I felt like she handled the fantasy suites so classy. There wasn't any insinuation that anything happened. There wasn't any insinuation that something did. You didn't know, and I liked it.
And that's the perfect moment, yeah.
I was like so refreshing because like it shouldn't be our business who you hook up with.
Right.
You shouldn't be telling me who you hooked up with. And your parents are watching, your grandparents are watching.
Her students.
Like, let's class this up a little bit. Yeah, and when like they announced her as a bachelorette, I was so nervous because like I knew she was a teacher. I was like, oh my gosh, these poor children. But she handled it so well.
Very good.
Other than the making out stuff, like, but they all do
that's
that.
normal, yeah.
They all do that, you know. So I was happy that like, you know, we don't know, and I hope that we continue to not know. And that's why I'm disappointed by Clayton, because like the previews for that have said so much, because like he was like the little kid's favorite in the classroom.
That episode, by the way, is our favorite episode. The one with the kids. It's super cute.
And
that
like
episode.
I had such high hopes for him, and
Such a high hope.
I'm
now I'm
crushed.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's a bad guy. It's just he
It
probably
came
went
too much too fast.
Yes, too much too fast, and it went too deep into his brain. Probably like, you know, when you have 30 women and like falling in love with 30 women and like falling in love and it's being like, you know, this is my moment. And I don't know.
And to be honest, he probably isn't the first. He's just the first one to verbally admit it to them out loud.
Right. We've never had a problem with Clayton being the next bachelor. We saw this so much hate with him
that's
being the
ridiculous.
which is ridiculous because that's not how we felt about it. We were so
We were like,
we were so
this
for
dude
it.
is
Like,
the best dad
we're
ever, like future dad.
Yeah, like we were so for it. Like it was odd to see the mixed reactions towards that too, which is I don't know why people would
and like
throw hate towards
we're
that.
gonna watch and find out, but like it seems like they already gave away a lot in the preview.
They give away way too much
Way
because
too
you already
much.
know who the three top are.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
So it's
And
like
they seem
It's
kind
that one. There's that girl without a fingernail too on top of her. If you see it, she's not a fingernail. Just saying.
And being a girl, you know how bad that is.
Yeah. Anyways, but that's that.
So this just made me think of a night. Like we're definitely gonna keep talking about Bachelor and like stuff in the future. And I want to make a cocktail next time we do it. So I wish I would have made us like a cocktail that was called The Vulnerable. We're all over 21.
We're all over 21 in this group.
So maybe we'll just have them in the next episode, even if we're not talking about the Bachelor.
Sounds good.
And then like we'll make up a cocktail for Clayton's season 2. Who knows what it'll be called? Maybe it'll be called Slut or something. But
the women, they're not shy to say things. They go for it.
Yeah.
They start screaming. So
stay tuned for the future Bachelor cocktail names.
yeah.
Blindsided.
it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good name.
Blindsided.
The blindsided.
The blindsided.
I like it.
Hits you where you least
so many
expect it.
things. So many
there
things. I feel
anything
like
else
I
we
feel like we
want?
could keep talking about this
Oh,
forever.
I could talk about this shit for days.
No,
For
I
days.
know.
We're very
Whatever.
passionate about this show, but I think it's very entertaining and we're still going to watch it, regardless of how we feel about it.
Yep.
Sad truth is we're still going to watch it.
Because I think, you know, humans are never going to stop being fascinated by love and all different types of love and just like watching people's experience with it.
Drama.
Yeah.
And
And
I
how
feel like-
people handle things.
I feel like that's how the whole United States feel about it. Like this is so fucked up, but I'm gonna keep watching it.
I think that's how we all feel,
And like-
right?
Yeah, even though you know that you don't want to see it, you want to see it.
Right.
Yes.
It's so crazy
It's, so
how this
it's
thing-
sad. Yes, it is crazy.
Do you think Colton will be the first gay bachelor?
I don't think they're gonna bring him back.
Yeah, because
I think that guy has had enough screen time, guys. I think we should let
It's
it
not
rest.
that I don't. I really like the dude and I respect him for coming out, and so that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I think just because he so publicly humiliated Cassie, I think it wouldn't be right if they like.
Reward him. I mean,
They can
again,
find another guy
I
to
think
represent.
they need to do it. They need to start a gay bachelor, or you know, in both women and men. Like it definitely needs to start because it's time. Like, come on, like why are you not doing this? But they're probably not gonna bring Colton back.
I don't think so.
And like he has his own show now in
I was
Netflix
just
and
gonna
things.
Oh,
say
he's in
that,
a
yeah.
relationship, if I'm not mistaken.
So
I
I
have
hope
no
I
idea.
hope him the best, and I hope he gets the closure and things that he needs
Yeah.
to keep growing. And I think he's doing it. We watched a couple episodes of his coming
Yeah.
out Colton.
Yeah.
And it seems like he really is going through the work. And I bet, 29 years of suppressing who you
Yeah.
truly are
So sad.
is so
Yeah.
sad. And like, if you are doing it, please don't. Like, come out. Like, there is nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Nothing. And if
Yeah.
people don't accept you, you don't want those people next to you anyways. You want people that are going to
Yeah.
be there for you. You want people who are going to love you for who you
And support
truly are.
you.
Right.
Because
At
who
the
you
end of-
truly are is who we want.
At the
Yeah.
end of the day, you have this one life. This is not a
Yeah.
dress rehearsal. This
Yes.
is the show, and you
Yeah.
don't have another opportunity. So live your life the way you want to.
Exactly.
That's
Yes.
it.
And I'm also like looking forward to like I feel like it's time for them to have a Latino bachelorette or bachelor or
That would be
also
so
an
exciting.
Asian.
An Asian.
That would be
They
so
have
exciting.
never once had either one, and I think it's time.
Diversity. She's
It's
beautiful.
time.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
great thing. I think
Yeah.
it's a wonderful thing. It'd
It's
be a
time.
learning experience too. I think it's time for that.
It's
too.
time. It's time
It
for
is
them.
time for so many things, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So-
I think they are just so afraid of what people are gonna say, but it's like go for it.
Right.
Right.
If you're not gonna take that step,
Exactly.
people are
Yeah.
probably gonna end up not watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, if we keep seeing the same old, we're never gonna learn. As a society, we're just never gonna learn. If we're not providing that, we're not showing that, providing that for people to get educated on diversity, on everything. We're never gonna know.
Yeah.
We're just never gonna know. So
For sure.
Yep. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
yes,
This and also, by the way, happy holidays.
happy holidays.
Hope you guys are having a fantastic.
Yes. Stay
Yeah.
safe.
Yes, stay
Yes,
safe. Please stay safe.
Please stay safe, guys.
Stay
And
safe.
thank you so much for listening.
Thank
Like
you
we're gonna
so
have way more of these, like exclusive episodes of The Bachelor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you guys want other shows that you think would be interesting to talk about, please let us know in the comments. Let us know. Rate us.
Yeah.
We will be super, super happy to do it. We will be
Yeah.
delight.
Yes.
Totally.
Delighted.
Give us
We
ideas.
like lots of shows. Like
Yeah.
Yes.
you don't even know.
You don't even know.
We have a lot of opinions, as you can tell.
We
Yes.
do. We do.
Probably too many.
Yes.
Check us out on all our social media platforms: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You know what? We have
Facebook,
it. We're on everything.
Meta,
Tell your friends.
Spotify, Apple Music.
Google
Amazon.
Cast.
And don't just watch people like subscribe.
Subscribe.
That would be lovely.
Rate.
All it
Yeah.
takes is like a little tiny effort of your
Everything.
finger to do it.
Just go.
Everything is free.
Yes.
Oh, everything
Yes.
is free.
So
you heard
please.
that?
You heard that.
Everything is free.
So please just
Just
it will mean the word to us to support us. Happy holidays and hope to see you in the next episode.
See you in the
See
next
you.
episode, everybody.
Will it be next year that we see you?
No, we still have one more episode.
Okay.
before.
More.
All
happy
right.
holidays.
All right. Peace out.
Peace
Bye.
out.
Thanks for listening, guys and gals. This was Nobody You Know. Literally. Remember to hit like and subscribe and leave us a comment. Have a question for the guys or a topic you'd love them to discuss? Get in touch. You can find us on all socials at @NobodyYouKnow_podcast. See you next time.